Hey guys, it's Rachel from Rad Milk Lactation and Feeding Therapy. Welcome back to my channel, Rad Milk Mom, where we talk about all things related to lactation and infant feeding. Today I'm here to talk to you about alcohol consumption and breastfeeding. I get a lot of questions from clients and friends asking me about how they can enjoy a drink and safely nurse their baby. The truth is, it's not a black and white one-size-fits-all answer. So stick with me for the next few minutes and we'll go over the facts, information and resources, and pro tips so that you can make the best decision for what's right for you and your baby. And at the end of this video, I'll answer 2 questions from the audience and debunk some common myths. First, it's important to understand how alcohol impacts breast milk. Alcohol is water and fat soluble and enters the bloodstream and human milk very easily. In fact, the blood alcohol level closely parallels the alcohol level in breast milk. So let's talk about the potential effect on infants that alcohol can have when passed on through breast milk, and then we'll talk about how to avoid that. The CDC states, over time, excessive alcohol consumption could lead to shortened breastfeeding duration due to decreased milk production and can also affect the infant's sleep patterns and early development. The AAP says there are concerns about long-term, repeated exposures of infants to alcohol via mother's milk, so moderation is definitely advised. Specifically, the most common negative effects on infants include sleep disturbances, increased crying and startle response, decreased milk intake, growth retardation, potential impairment on cognitive function, impaired immune function, delay of motor development, and reduction in abstract reasoning in school-age children. Thomas Hale, the author of Medications and Mother's Milk, and widely respected medical contributor to breastfeeding medicine, cautions that chronic or heavy drinkers should not breastfeed, and points out that some studies have suggested psychomotor delay in infants of moderate drinkers who regularly consume more than 2 drinks per day. So then what do the experts say on safely consuming alcohol and breastfeeding? The American Academy for Pediatrics says if a woman chooses to have an alcoholic drink, it's best to do so just after she has nursed or expressed her milk rather than before, and allow at least 2 hours per drink before the next breastfeeding or pumping session. Thomas Hale says reasonable alcohol intake should not be discouraged. Adult metabolism of alcohol is approximately 1 ounce in 3 hours, so mothers who ingest alcohol in moderate amounts can generally return to breastfeeding as soon as they feel neurologically normal. And lastly, the CDC states, generally, moderate alcohol consumption by a breastfeeding mother up to 1 standard drink per day is not known to be harmful to the infant, especially if the mother waits at least 2 hours after a single drink before nursing. It's also important to note that newborns cannot metabolize alcohol as well, so it is suggested to wait until your baby is at least 8 weeks or older before casually consuming alcohol. So now with that information, let's define a standard drink. In the United States, 1 standard drink is 12 ounces of beer, which is about 5% alcohol, 5 ounces of wine, which is about 12% alcohol, or 1.5 ounces of a distilled spirit, which is about 40% alcohol. Here's a link to help you determine the amount of time to wait based on your weight and the type of drink that you had. So now it's time to take some questions from the audience. Okay, question number 1 that I received. I've heard that having a beer can increase my milk production. Is that true? No, this is simply an old wives' tale. While there is a barley component in the beer that helps to increase prolactin, a hormone needed for milk production, it is important to point out that the alcohol component can actually decrease milk production. Specifically, the alcohol interferes with the release of oxytocin, which is the hormone that stimulates a letdown of milk. And if less milk is let down, then less milk is removed. So, if frequent or chronic consumption of alcohol occurs, this can lead to an overall decreased milk supply. However, most moms who have the occasional alcoholic drink do not have this issue. Okay guys, question number 2. I heard that I need to pump and dump my milk after drinking alcohol. Is this true? Here's my answer. Time is what's needed for alcohol to leave your bloodstream and therefore your milk. And pumping and dumping will not speed up the rate of elimination of alcohol from your body. So pumping and dumping will most often be a waste. However, there is a circumstance where you would need to discard your milk. And this is if you are intoxicated when you need to express your milk. You do not want to become uncomfortably full or engorged because it could lead to plug ducts, mastitis, and other issues. So in this case, expressing your milk to comfort and discarding it is appropriate. So if you are a breastfeeding mom and you decide to have an alcoholic drink, remember these 3 pro tips. Number 1, remember to breastfeed or pump your milk immediately before having that drink. This way, the alcohol will likely be out of your bloodstream and your milk before it's time to nurse your baby or pump again. Number 2, have that drink ready before you nurse or pump your milk. This way you'll maximize the time between having the drink and when it's time to nurse or pump your milk again. And number 3, have a backup plan of previously expressed milk in the fridge or freezer, just in case you drink a little more than you anticipated and you cannot safely feed your baby. Well, that's it for today, guys. Please follow me at RadMilkMom and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.